guys, this is Faye with EQ Kids. We are starting a new thing called Cafe Corner Secrets. It's for our moms, it's for our members, it's for our non-members, anybody that needs advice on how to be a parent, and that would be all of us that need advice on. Leah here with me today, and she is going to be our first person to interview, and we'll post these on our channel, on our social media, so that you can watch them again and again and be the best mom that you can possibly be. So today's topic, we're going to have different, I guess you would call them hot topics. Today's topic is on sleep. So Leah here, we just talked about, I said, do you want to tell us your sleep tricks for home, because I think that's something we all struggle with. And so, what did you tell me about?
I laughed at that because my child was the worst sleeper at home. I had the worst time with getting him to sleep, waking up every 2 or 3 hours, and we really struggled. But I said that I have awesome tips for sleeping when you're traveling. He was much better at it.
Okay, so with spring break coming up, your summer vacations coming up, Leah is a travel expert. She has been, tell us a little bit about your business and what you do, how long you've done it.
So I have been working in the travel industry for over 10 years. I have had a blog for about 9 years. I talk a lot on my blog about how having kids doesn't mean that you have to stop traveling, and how to incorporate your kids into travel. You can travel with your kids staying at a babysitter home, you can travel with your kids and take them on adventures, but it doesn't, a lot of people say like, oh, we have kids, we can't go anywhere but Disney World, you know, and it's like, but there's, you know, my child has been to tons of countries, been to 12 countries I think now, and
he's how old?
He's 6. So he's been to 12 countries, a bunch of them multiple times, you know, and we have actually traveled more since we had him than we did before, and we always traveled a lot. So
awesome. So we actually took her to Italy for my sister's wedding when she was 9 months old, and she didn't sleep for like 48 hours from jet lag. We weren't ready for that. Do you have, I know like we flew Lufthansa, I think, and they had like a bassinet that I didn't know about. How do you know about these things? Like, are there certain airlines that have travel, you know, help you sleep? I mean, how do you guys figure out?
Most of the airlines, when you do the long leg of the overseas flight, they will have a bassinet. Everyone has a different policy about whether or not you can reserve it or not. So I always felt it was worth it to pay for bulkhead seating if you're flying in coach, and then you get that seat behind the wall, and then if they have a bassinet, then you usually have access to it. There was times that I didn't pay the extra $100 per person per leg to have the bulkhead seating, and I was still able to get it, but it's first come, first serve. You need to check in early, so this is a time where it's really good to use a travel agent, contact a travel agent, ask them, you know, get them to help you with their experience, and especially a travel agent who knows the place that you're going.
Awesome.
So there's a lot of travel agents who don't necessarily go to the place that you're going. They might be an expert in Disney or something like that, but they've never gone to Italy with their kids. So you want to find someone who's experienced with doing what you're trying to do, and get their feedback. And I'm also a huge fan of bringing the car seat on the plane. So I know people don't want to pay for a seat.
Extra?
If you have to buy, once they're over 2, you know, you have to buy a seat. But so we didn't always buy a seat when he was under 2. If we could get the bassinet, we did. But I'm gonna tell you that once we had to start buying a seat, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so worth it. I wish I'd been doing this all along. Because them having their own space to be, and you know, they're used to sleeping in their car seat. And they know that they can't get down. Because when they're in the car, nobody unbuckles them the whole time they're riding. And so it just becomes such a different battle of once they're in there and you can give them toys and they're used to falling asleep there. And once we started doing it, I was like, this is a million times easier.
What about when you get there, like as far as your time zones, your jet lag, how does he adjust?
So the most important thing in my experience is to immediately, when you hit the ground, start living on the time of where you are. So
even if you're exhausted?
Even if you're exhausted, do not take a nap. Like, I forbid all of my clients to take a nap when they get to Europe. Like, you power through. Because if you take a nap now, you're just extending your jet lag by honestly a week. So if you take one nap, it's like a week of jet lag. But if you can power through, by day 2, you're gonna feel so much better. So even for the little kids, you can't really help if they fall asleep. If they're in their stroller, sometimes they do pass out. But I don't do anything to accommodate their sleep. So if he's falling asleep and we need to take him out and move him or whatever, he might get cat naps because kids, you know, it's harder for them. So he might get a cat nap, but I don't lay them down in a comfy bed or anything to encourage it. And then I just keep really busy, keep moving, and also expose yourself to sunshine. That really helps reset your body clock. So during the day, like get outside, go for a walk, get fresh air, be in the sunshine, and then eat on the schedule of where you are. So try to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the time that you should be eating in that place, and not, you know, following what your body is used to. And it will really reset your clock. And we've found, I don't even know how many trips we've taken, but on those trips, if we can power through that one first day, go to bed really early. The first night you can, as soon as it's dark. So if it's like 7 or 8 or whatever, you can go to bed. Yeah. You'll sleep really long the night. When you wake up in the morning, you feel pretty fine.
You're pretty much on it.
You're over
What
it.
about sleeping arrangements, as far as like, if you can't just bring a pack and play on the plane and travel with it? Are there places that have them? How do you know? Is that something you guys researched before?
Yeah, I've only ever had one time that they didn't have a crib for me at a hotel. So I always would email the hotel, and again, travel agents are super helpful in this because they can figure it out for you. But I had one time that they didn't have a pack and play on the first night, and I just made a pallet on the floor. It was fine. And then the next night, the one freed up and they brought it to me. I also always carry a travel sound machine, like a little clip-on sound machine, because that consistency of something that, you know, hearing the white noise at home, hearing the same white noise when you're traveling. So I always use like an ocean sound or something, and that really helped, I think. And then they also make little bassinets. So when your baby's little, if you're worried about them not being in bed or something, they make these. I have a flat one, and it's like this big. It folds up completely flat, and it folds out. And you can put it in your suitcase. It folds out, and it makes like a little bassinet. So when your baby's really small, you can put them on the floor. You can put them in the bed with you, but they have a safe space. So there's a lot of really great gadgets and stuff. You actually can carry the pack and play on the plane. And a lot of times it's even free. Baby gear is free, but I don't recommend it.
Like a stroller. It would be
yes, like a stroller. But I don't recommend it because it's not worth it in my opinion.
And they're heavy.
They're heavy. And you know, if you're taking a train or a rental car, those rental car trunks can be really small, and you have to get all your suitcases. I really don't think it's worth it, but if you're going somewhere that you knew you weren't gonna have it, and you were staying in one place the whole time and not changing hotels a lot, because we tend to move around a lot, then you do have the option sometimes.
So now, do you guys go with your clients, or do you get a trip together for them before? Do you offer different services?
So I have different services. I've been a travel agent for over 10 years. So I work with a travel agency, and I can book any vacation that you want to take. You know, if you want to go to Mexico for the weekend, or if you want to go to Japan or Europe or whatever. But I also offer escorted tours, and that is my favorite thing to do. I really specialize in getting off the beaten path and having really authentic experiences. So I you know, take people to places that I'm super comfortable and super familiar with, and set up a really great itinerary of the highlights of that place. And we don't just, you know, do the typical stuff all the time. So I have a family-friendly trip in June, and we're going to Ireland for 7 days. It's going to be super fun.
And that's great with kids, because it's sometimes you don't want to travel with your kids because you're like, I don't know how to keep them busy. I don't know, you know, restaurant. It's hard to go into restaurants when someone doesn't speak the language.
And driving on the wrong side of the road in a country you've never been to is something that's really intimidating to a lot of people. And that's why I started doing this. I had a lot of these trips that I did, and people follow me on social media, and they would say like, well, how do I do that trip? And I would say, well, as a travel agent, I don't really feel comfortable sending you and being like, good luck finding that farm in the middle of nowhere, you know, and good luck. And so I really struggled with how to figure out how to meet that request. And so last year I said, you know what, I'm just gonna start taking people. And so now I'll show you. And so we're doing a lot of the fun family stuff in Ireland. We're gonna sleep in a castle, and we're gonna do you know, horse and carriage rides and all kinds of fun stuff. And then in September I have Italy trips. I have 2 Italy trips. So I have a girls trip in September. We're going to do Florence and Tuscany. And we stay at my friend's Agriturismo, so it's an authentic Italian farm. Everything that you eat, they grew. They make their own wine. She's a sommelier. They make their own olive oil. The meat and cheese is from their cows. The wheat for the pasta is from their wheat, you know, so
cool.
It's a really cool experience. And again, just authentic. We're going to take pasta making
class. And now you're talking about social media, so Instagram, do you have an Instagram?
I have an Instagram. It's Flip Flops and Adventures, and the same on Facebook, Flip Flops and Adventures.
Okay, cool. So if you guys need someone to go with you, you know, that'd be the best one. It's about like having a local there. She's been so many places. Thank you, Leah, for coming on today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and hope you have fun on your other trips this summer.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for our next video, and be sure to check our Instagram. We love sharing our Cafe Corner secrets.